Mike.
This is the Hall Institute, and my name is Michael Rickards. I'm delighted today to have one of the outstanding public servants in the state, the mayor of Woodbridge, former treasurer of the state of New Jersey, John McCormac. Mr. Mayor, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me,
We're delighted to have the opportunity to come here and to really ask you to look at some of the most difficult questions facing our state. You faced some of them, obviously, when you were state treasurer, and you face them now on the other side as a mayor of a fairly large township. Tell us, really, as you go through and look at the problems that we're facing, are they insurmountable?
Well, nothing's insurmountable, but I have to admit I feel bad for the new treasurer and the new governor. They have a situation that's even far worse than we face. We came in 2002, was post 9/11, there was a really recession starting in 2001, and we faced a $3 billion shortfall in the year we were in with 5.5 months to go, and a $6 billion problem in the next year, which, we did a lot of things that were easier because it was the first time we had such a shortfall. Now there's a bigger shortfall that they're facing, and a lot of the easier solutions that we took already are gone. So they really have their work cut out for them, and they really have a lot of work to do to get this budget in balance.
Why are the estimates of the shortfall always so inaccurate? We were told it was 9, then 10. I heard 11 yesterday.
Well, every time you open up the envelopes, every month.
Is it the receipts? Is that
Yeah, because you got September's a key month, and then December's a key month, January, and then April. And that's when the different sales taxes are due, or the corporate taxes, or mostly the personal income taxes. So every time there's new information in terms of what did you collect that month, it updates the forecast going forward. But I've learned one thing, that you basically try to do your projections, but what the OLS, Office of Legislative Services, says is generally nonpartisan and generally on target. So we, in my 4 years, were never more than 0.5% off of them. Generally, if the administration is way high compared to OLS, then they're being way too rosy in their forecasting.
How does it look for the next year or 2 years down the road?
Not good. The state, the revenues are down significantly. All major categories of revenue are down. Corporate tax, sales tax, income tax. They're all down, and the spending needs just get greater and greater. So it's a catastrophe in terms of what the governor has to deal with this year.
Now, as I said, you've had a distinguished career in public service. Everybody acknowledges that. Whenever I have a question, I call you, and then I take credit for your answer.
That's okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, because I don't think people really know what your background was before you became the state treasurer.
Well, born in Orange, New Jersey, 1958. My parents lived in Irvington for 2 years till my sister was born, and then 2 kids in an apartment didn't work. So they bought a house in Woodbridge, which my mother still lives in. My dad died a year ago. Oldest of 5, raised in Woodbridge, went to Rutgers, undergrad in accounting, St. John's, grad degree in finance, worked in a big 8 CPA firm for 8 years until I left there, started my own accounting business, and then one day I made the fatal mistake of meeting Jim McGreevey at the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And he was running for mayor of Woodbridge, and he asked me for his help, and I helped him, and he became elected mayor in 1991, started serving in 92. He made me the chief financial officer of the town. When I worked for the CPA firm, I got a lot of government background, did a lot of government auditing and consulting, became the town CFO, and then later the administrator, and then he ran for governor, won, and asked me to be the state treasurer, and that was a fantastic job for those 4 years. But my heart was always back in Woodbridge. I always knew I wanted to go back and run for mayor. I almost was going to be mayor and not be treasurer, but it turned out pretty good having served those 4 years. So I got back, and now I have my dream job, mayor of Woodbridge.
I want to just sort of ask you, as you look at some of the major problems, because we're on the current governor's transition team, a Republican governor with a Democrat mayor. How do you deal with issues like the pension problem, which we've looked at here at length? The problem is getting worse rather than moving towards some sort of settlement.
Well, you've got to manage the assets better, and you've got to control the liabilities. The liabilities, the pension bill of 2001 that granted everybody a 9% increase, I mean, that was not fundable. The money was not there to cover that. The market had already started sliding in 2000 and into 2001, yet that information wasn't available to the legislature. So here they are granting an increase on the liability side while the assets are declining. So that's one problem. You got to do a better job. People shouldn't be part-timers in the plan. They should have more of an income threshold. It shouldn't be so easy to just get a pension from the state of New Jersey. And then you got to manage the assets better. I mean, we tried when we were here to diversify. We were the only state, only large plan in the country not in real estate, not in private equity, not in hedge funds, venture capital. Yet it diversified. We were in stocks and bonds, and we managed it all on West State Street, which is insane. Nobody else does it that. When you're the only one doing something, you've got to look back and say, why are we the only one doing this? Everybody else had Wall Street managing part of the money,
right,
and we needed to get there, and everybody else was diversified, and we needed to get there. We took a lot of major steps when I was here. They've taken some more steps since then, but then, people balk, unions get upset, and the legislature gets upset, and really, the pensions have to be outside the politics. Just manage the pension plan the way you should manage it, and forget about, the political influences of it. But that's unfortunately not the way it works.
How do 70 men and women manage 60 to 80, when it was good times, $billion?
That's a good question. How does that's not 70 people who are actually...
No, it includes secretaries.
That includes traders, doing the trades, and includes a lot of things. The real number of people managing the portfolio is a lot less. I mean, a person can't follow more than a couple of dozen stocks.
Right.
Just can't. But our guys follow 100. You need licenses, you need degrees, you need qualified people with experience, and you don't have that sometimes when you're a government. You need Wall Street experience, people who are on the street, on the trading floor, listening to what's going on. I mean, we talked about foreign stocks. How in the world can somebody in State Street manage a portfolio in China when they're sleeping when the Chinese market's open? I mean, you got people on the floor, buy, sell, trade, go, yes, in, out, whatever. And we wake up the next morning, find out what happened and react to it, while people on the floor are reacting as it happens. You can't manage a portfolio, a foreign portfolio from State Street and Trenton.
Are they doing more than just indexing, just following the indexes?
No, they're trying to beat the indexes. They're trying to actively manage the fund. If you closet index and passively manage a fund, that's one approach. But if you actively manage a fund, you're trying to beat the indexes. You can't beat the indexes, with people on State Street, who are literally sleeping when these markets are open and investing in countries that they know nothing about or even where they are.
Now, some of those people tell me that it's impossible for them, or it's a big hassle for them even to get travel money to go to conferences where they can improve their skills.
That's the way. When I first came into office, this is a crazy story. They wanted every travel bill to be approved by the governor's office. So I had people taking a round-trip train fare to New York City to go to a conference, to go visit a company you're investing in. And they had to get a pre-approval for a $20 train voucher, which is insane. Leave them alone. Let them run it. Let them get the resources they need. Let them get trained. Let them get licenses. Let them get all the computers. Let them get all the research. Let them do whatever they have to do, and just let them run the portfolio. Don't have to clear your travel to New York to go to a Merrill Lynch conference to learn about derivatives. I mean, it's insane. Absolutely insane.
In the area of education, now you obviously face this, especially as a mayor. We have the highest per capita expenditures in the country. One of the highest, not as high as Washington, D.C. In terms of expenditures per capita for students, especially high in special education. Do you see that